How an inspiring, simple idea transformed me from family embarrassment to Forbes fame. Claire Jensen navigated the crowded corridor of Maplewood High, a palpable chill in the air that went beyond the winter weather. The echo of laughter from students filled her ears, but it only amplified her sense of isolation. A flyer fluttered against her chest. "Ignite your classroom, revolutionary teaching methods." Her stomach twisted at the thought. Wouldn't that be just the pinnacle of failure? To already be the youngest, overshadowed by her siblings' immaculate careers as a lawyer and a physician, and now to need a workshop to ignite her teaching? Could she ever overcome the label pinned to her by her own family? The stakes felt monumental. Approaching the workshop felt like walking into a lion's den, filled with bright-eyed educators eagerly anticipating new ideas. Claire's heart raced as she took her seat, suffocating under the pressure of expectations, her family's legacy, her desire to innovate, and the unrelenting fear of being a disappointment. Other teachers buzzed about their journeys, while she felt lost, trapped under the weight of her decisions. She couldn't shake the sense that the walls of her life were closing in. The highlight of her week was meant to be the joy of spontaneous learning, yet here she felt like a fraud, clenching her notebook, pen poised, her mind racing with doubt. The speaker's enthusiasm was contagious, yet the whisper in Claire's mind sang a sinister tune. This path could lead to failure, humiliation. What would her parents think? They had sacrificed so much for her, their own ambitions left by the wayside. The concept of engagement and real-world relevance resonated within her, but the thought that change could compromise her integrity paralyzed her momentarily. She was rooted in old-school values of hard work and discipline. Hadn't that been the foundation of her family's success? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the workshop progressed, Claire felt the concept of igniting curiosity teasing her like a flame she both yearned for and feared. Days passed, and though back in her underfunded classroom, she fought desperation, trying anything fresh, weaving in creativity amidst the rigid structure of the curriculum. She found herself enthralled, watching her students lean in as they began questioning, engaging. This feeling, would her family finally see that she could make a mark? But the joy of learning was slippery, ebbing into concern as the conservative administrators prickled at her methods. What if her colleagues turned against her? Their sideways glances felt like daggers. The revelation that her principal doubted her methods cut deeper than any criticism from her family. Betrayed, Claire felt a flood of anguish, questioning if this struggle was worth it. Could she salvage her dream, despite the excruciating tug-of-war between family loyalty and self-acceptance? The awareness of her potential filled her with a newfound determination, while engulfing her in despair. Each conversation felt like a battle against defeat, as rumors of that major education tech company circling her method stirred hope within her. Another fear loomed. Could she trust herself to seize it? Standing on the precipice of this new path felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Claire faced an impossible choice: pursue her dreams and risk breaking the mold of a family legacy, or retreat into the shadows where they perceived her to belong. The climax of her journey loomed, but would she dare? Claire stood in the dim light of her classroom, struggling to find her bearings amid the wreckage of self-doubt and ambition. The air felt thick, a weight pressing down that made each breath feel laborious. Behind her, the chaotic chatter of her students seemed to fade, replaced by the steady thump of her heart echoing in her ears. Could she really embrace this new direction, knowing her principal scrutinized every move she made? Days turned into weeks. Each trial she implemented, project-based learning, interactive discussions, was met with resistance from peers who clung tightly to traditional methods. Their skepticism was a constant reminder of the precarious line she walked, a tear in the fabric of her professional existence. She often found herself frantically revising lesson plans, the fear of ridicule tightening its grip on her chest. Yet, amid the shadows of doubt, glimmers of success sparkled. The moments of connection with her students grew, those fleeting seconds when curiosity sparked in their eyes, when they dared to question, to explore. In those moments, Claire glimpsed the teacher she aspired to be. She hungered for more of those experiences, yet each victory was tainted by the lurking worry that the very methods igniting her classroom could extinguish her credibility. "Why can't you just follow the rules?" a colleague had asked after seeing the latest class project. Those words ricocheted in her thoughts, transforming into a mantra of inadequacy. Had she truly lost sight of her mission? Each remark layered another stone on her already burdened shoulders. To her family, success was defined by conformity to established norms, a steady job, accolades, and a predictable path. Claire yearned for innovation, yet it felt like she was backing into a corner. Determined to forge her own path, she began to consider a plan. The tech company showing interest in her teaching approach was an opportunity, a chance to validate her methods, to step beyond Maplewood High's suffocating boundaries. Could she harness this chance to break free from the chains of her family's expectations? As she pored over presentation slides late into the night, Claire braced herself against the rising tide of anxiety. Would they see the value of her methods, or would she be reduced to another educational fad? Each thought spiraled deeper into a whirlwind of self-doubt before she would grasp onto the possibility of change. Fueled by a blend of desperation and determination, Claire reached out to her network, sharing snippets of her student successes online. The response was electric. Educators across the country began to engage, sharing their own stories of innovation and their struggles against the confines of tradition. Slowly, she felt the landscape of her confidence shifting. Was this her audience? A community that understood her turmoil and the exhilaration of teaching? But despite the stirring excitement, Claire's heart raced at the ominous question that loomed over her plans. What if she failed? The unmistakable sense of being an outsider nestled itself within her, often whispering insidiously, "You don't belong here." Pushing through that fear, she scheduled a presentation with the company. Claire's heart drummed against her ribs as the countdown to the day began. Every anxious thought threatened to unravel her determination. Would she rise to the occasion or collapse under the weight of expectations? Now, standing before her students, she could feel the gravity of the coming choices clashing with her budding resolve. Was it time to claim her identity as an educator, her vision without the shadow of her family's judgment? As the moment approached, a single question rang clear in her mind. Could this be the turning point she had desperately sought, or would she sacrifice her dreams yet again? The day of the presentation arrived too swiftly, stealing her breath and mind alike. Claire stood in front of the mirror, smoothing her blazer for what felt like the 100th time. The reflection was familiar, yet her self-image trembled under the surface. Was she the confident educator she projected, or was she still that uncertain teacher from Maplewood High, shackled by criticism? Arriving at the tech company's sleek offices boosted her adrenaline. Glass walls and modern decor surrounded her, an ironic contrast to her own cluttered classroom. Each step into the lobby felt heavier than the last, even as a smirk of determination masked her trepidation. Claire reminded herself of the moments that had propelled her to this point, the passion of her students, their laughter, the way the light sparkled in their eyes when they discovered something new. Those were the victories worth fighting for. As she was ushered into the presentation room, her heart raced. A semicircle of polished faces awaited her, the executive's eyes glancing over with a blend of curiosity and skepticism. Sharp ties and crisp dresses, they scrutinized her like a piece in a game she hadn't fully learned how to play yet. Taking a deep breath, she gathered herself. "Good morning," she began, her voice steadier than she felt. As she spoke, Claire weaved through her presentation, filled with stories of her students, each anecdote a thread binding her journey. The more she detailed the interactive projects and the student successes, the louder the internal dialogue of doubt became. What if they dismissed her approach as unorthodox, as her colleagues had? Then, as if guided by instinct, she took a risk. She veered from her prepared notes and asked the executives, "What do you think when you hear innovation in education?" Their varied expressions hinted both at intrigue and a longing for definition. Opening this dialogue transformed her presentation from a mere demonstration of her methods to a genuine conversation about what they valued. As they began to share their thoughts, Claire felt the tension within her ease slightly. Voices emerged, some rightfully skeptical, others curious. Defensive walls fell away, revealing a collective yearning for meaningful change in education. Each reply ignited her resolve. Claire was no longer an imposter in their midst. She was an advocate for a shift in mentality, and with every exchange, she shed the fabric of self-doubt that had clung so tightly. During a moment of silence, she delivered her closing statement with fierce clarity. "I believe that the way we teach must reflect the world we live in, innovative, engaging, and responsive to the needs of our students. They deserved a chance to lead, not just follow." This authenticity sparked something tangible in the room, a shared excitement, a flicker of possibility. Afterward, the room buzzed with feedback and questions. The dialogue continued deeper than she'd anticipated. Discussions shifted from just her methods to larger systemic issues. It felt collaborative, illuminating not just what she could envision, but showcasing her hidden talent for navigating complex discussions. As the day wore on, Claire gradually unlatched the grip of her insecurities. The executives offered insights beyond the typical business angles, encouraging her to explore partnerships that would further validate her educational vision. The potential next step loomed large. Could this be the launchpad to spread her innovative ideas further than the confines of Maplewood High? Yet, as positivity swirled around her, a disquieting thought crept in. How would her family perceive this new development? Would they ever understand her aspiration as an educator? With the conclusion of the day approaching, Claire wrestled with the growing realization that change didn't just happen in classrooms. It transcended personal relationships and expectations. Was she prepared to challenge those expectations head-on? The answer flickered in her chest. The next chapter of her journey was about more than just innovation in education. It was about breaking free from fear and embracing her authentic self amidst all the uncertainty that lay ahead. Just as she stepped outside, invigorated by possibility, the question formed unbidden in her mind. What was she willing to sacrifice for the future she desired? And were those sacrifices truly worth it? Claire eased into her car, the engine purring to life as she gripped the steering wheel. The vibrant energy of the day still lingered, but beneath that excitement lay a gnawing anxiety. The clock on the dashboard ticked relentlessly, a reminder of the fragility of time and the looming confrontation with her family. What would she say? The thought churned in her mind. The dazzling possibilities of the presentation felt surreal against the backdrop of her everyday life. No longer was she just a teacher. She was an innovator, a beacon of change. Yet at home, would she still be relegated to the title of family embarrassment? Each mile back felt like an emotional tightrope walk. Her heartbeat quickened as she thought of her parents' favoritism toward her siblings, whose paths were clearly mapped out in conventional success, stable jobs and law and finance. Claire, on the other hand, had chosen a far less predictable route, her passion for teaching sometimes viewed through the lens of disappointment. When she finally pulled into the driveway, the familiar sight of her family's home loomed large, an embodiment of expectations past. Stepping inside, the smell of a home-cooked meal wafted through the air, weaving memories of childhood comforts with the sharper pangs of inadequacy. Her mother glanced up from the stove, her expression shifting from surprise to concern. "Claire, you're back early. How did it go?" Her mother's hopeful eyes held unspoken questions, layered with implications she was all too familiar with. It was... Claire hesitated, grappling with the urge to share the transformative nature of her day versus the weighty baggage of her family's perception. It was, well, really well. "Good. You know your father and I worry about you." The weight of those words struck Claire like a blow. Worry? But I'm doing something valuable. I want to change education, Mom. Her voice caught on the last word, a slight tremor betraying her resolve. "You mean you want to change it for the worse?" "This is just another fad, Claire. You need a real career, something stable." Her mother's back turned to her as she stirred the pot, each flicker of her wrist stinging deeper than expected. For a fleeting moment, Claire felt her aspirations colliding with a raw, existential fear of being misunderstood. How could she explain that her vision wasn't just a phase, but a passion that ignited her soul? Each criticism peeled back layers of her confidence, layers she had fought so hard to build. "We're proud of you, sweetie, but..." Claire couldn't mask the frustration bubbling inside her. "What do I have to do to make you proud? Go through the motions of a life that I don't want?" Her parents exchanged looks, and Claire's heart sank at the silent judgment she could feel hanging thick in the air. Refusing to wither under the weight of their expectations, she made a choice. "I'm going to partner with them, the tech company. This could change everything for our students. I have real plans, Mom." Silence engulfed the room, the air cold with disbelief. "Oh, Claire," her mother finally sighed, voice dripping with doubt. But Claire wouldn't backpedal. She had just wrestled her way through an intimidating boardroom and emerged unabashed. The sense of rightful ownership surged within her, igniting a fierce determination. Did they even understand the weight of her ambition? As the conversation continued, she sensed the first flickers of resistance within her. This was more than just about approval. It was a stand against the inertia of past expectations. Later that evening, Claire stood outside, gazing at the stars that blinked with promise, her heart thudding with newfound resolve. How easy it would be to retreat, to mask her ambitions under the guise of familial duty. Yet deep within, she felt a stirring realization. If she wished to transform education, she first had to transform herself and her relationships. Yet even as determination vivified her spirits, a gnawing concern swirled. If she forged this path alone, how could she confront the backlash that awaited? The next step weighed heavily on her. Her next move would either solidify her growing identity or drag her back into a burden she was desperate to escape. Could she face her family again? Open a conversation about their conflicting values? Just as the weight of the night pressed heavily against her shoulders, a thought pierced through. Would breaking free from their expectations require more than just courage? Would it demand a sacrifice she could hardly comprehend? One that might cost her the very essence of family she was desperately trying to maintain. The next few days felt like a whirlwind, with Claire immersing herself in preparation for her upcoming meeting with the tech company. Between crafting presentations, researching innovative teaching methods, and aligning her goals with their vision, she pushed away the nagging doubts that flickered in her mind like faulty neon lights. Yet beneath this productive exterior, anxiety clawed at her insides. Each email she drafted seemed laced with confusion. Would her colleagues respect her ideas or dismiss them as whimsical? She felt like she had been granted access to a newfound world, but at the same time, the reality of her family's disapproval echoed relentlessly in her head. Once, she had found strength in her passion for teaching. Each student's breakthrough fueled her resolve. But with her parents' skepticism looming like a storm cloud, the joy began to wane. She caught herself second-guessing her choices. Maybe they were right. What if this was merely another ambitious folly on her part? Claire spent long nights combing through the mountains of data she needed to present, turning statistics into compelling narratives that showcased her vision. As she worked, she couldn't shake the feeling that presenting these ideas to the tech company was merely the first step. A more formidable challenge lay ahead, confronting her family once again and explaining this decision in a way they could understand. When the day of the tech meeting arrived, Claire donned her best professional attire. Standing before the mirror, she took a deep breath. She needed to present her authentic self, the one unshackled by her family's expectations. Confidence grew. Within her, igniting a fire she hadn't felt in days. She was beyond ready. She was determined to prove herself. The presentation unfolded seamlessly, her words weaving a tapestry of innovation and personal connection. As she spoke about her vision for the educational reform she dreamed of, the nods of approval from the executives fueled her passion. Each slide reflected her dedication, her hopes, and her dreams. The discussion transitioned into a robust dialogue, and Claire found herself soaring above the doubts that had plagued her mind for weeks. Upon leaving the meeting, she was alight with triumph, feeling as though she had genuinely carved out a piece of the future for herself. But as she stepped into her car, an unsettling sensation settled in her chest. Was this sense of achievement fleeting? Would her family concur with her newfound direction, or would they invest their relentless support into the paths they deemed real? In the days following the meeting, Claire endeavored to balance her career ambitions and the waiting storm at home. She decided it was time to invite her parents over for dinner, a chance to bridge the growing chasm formed by their diverging values. As she meticulously prepared the meal, the familiar weight of apprehension pressed down on her. What if they reject her triumph anew? Would they belittle her achievements as they had done before? The aroma of roasted chicken and vegetables filled her kitchen while she nervously arranged the table. Each dish represented not just a meal, but her metamorphosis, a manifestation of the woman she was becoming. The doorbell rang, slicing through her tension. As she swung the door open, her parents stood there, ready to step into a world they struggled to understand. Yet, as they crossed the threshold, an unexpected resolve tightened within Claire. This evening wouldn't just be about informing them of her plans. It would be about showing them the power of believing in oneself, even when the stakes felt insurmountable. She could sense the underlying love in the room, but could it override the weight of their fears? As dinner proceeded, Claire prepared to communicate her growth. In tandem, she sensed the flickering shadows of doubt creeping back, ready to pounce should she falter. The moment had arrived, and if she were to solidify her newfound identity, she needed to wield her voice with unwavering clarity. With every intention of unveiling the truth about her aspirations, she took a breath and prepared to speak. Would they accept her journey, or would she stand alone, still wrestling with the ghost of family expectations? Determination flickered within her, but as she looked across the table, there was uncertainty in their eyes. The stakes had never felt higher, yet this time, Claire realized she was finally ready. The tension was palpable as Claire's parents settled into their seats, the clinking of cutlery sounding almost foreign in the charged atmosphere. She felt as though a spotlight shone directly on her, amplifying each heartbeat and every thought racing through her mind. They exchanged glances across the table, their expressions a curious mix of pride and apprehension, an acknowledgement of the distance that had grown between them over the years. As she prepared to speak, the meal became a backdrop to the emotional stakes she stood to face. Her father, a firm believer in traditional paths, looked at her with skeptical eyes. Her mother busied herself with cutting the chicken. Each slice resounded like a countdown to the moment Claire must confront their expectations head-on. "Thank you for coming over tonight," Claire began, her voice steadier than she felt. "I wanted to share something important with you." Her parents leaned in, their attention sharpening. In that moment, Claire realized she needed to frame her ambitions in a way they could comprehend. Instead of diving headfirst into the intricacies of the tech company's vision, she aimed to connect it to the values they held dear: education, growth, and the betterment of future generations. As she described her project, illustrating how it aimed to harness technology in a meaningful way, she could see her mother's interest peaking, while her father maintained a skeptical facade. Claire's heart raced even faster. Would summarizing her dream bridge the gap or deepen it? "I've been working on this because I believe every child deserves access to innovative educational resources," she continued, her voice gaining strength. "It's about making a difference, not just in my life, but in the lives of countless students. This isn't just a career choice, it's a calling." Her father's brow furrowed, the low rumble of a response escaping his lips. "But Claire, it sounds risky. What if it doesn't work out? You've spent all this time on it. What if it all falls apart?" The very question she had wrestled with in solitude surfaces again, and her earlier confidence wavered. "What if it doesn't?" she countered, biting her lip to retain her composure. "But imagine what could happen if it does." An awkward silence enveloped the table. Claire's thoughts spiraled. Had she overstepped? Should she adjust her tone, soften her words, or stand her ground? Each instance of self-doubt raced through her, yet beneath it swelled something deeper, an insistence that she must advocate for her vision. This was not simply an idea. It was her identity, her future. "What if I told you this opportunity could change the way we think about education?" she added, infusing her voice with steady conviction. "What if I could actually create a network that empowers students, turning their potential into reality?" The tension shifted subtly. Her mother's expression softened, though skepticism still lingered in her father's furrowed brow. This was an opening, and Claire seized it. "I know this isn't what you envisioned for me, but I am asking you to trust me, to see me for who I am becoming." The echoes of their past conversations, her parents' ironclad expectations, their anxiety for her future, lingered like an uninvited shadow. Yet, for the first time, Claire stood undeterred. She wouldn't be the person they wanted her to be. She was forging a path rooted in her desires. Just as she thought she had made headway, her mother's voice broke through the silence. "I understand you want to innovate, dear, but..." Claire's heart dropped as hope tied itself to the uncertainty hanging in the air. "But what if you fail?" The question hung heavy, and Claire felt every emotional muscle tensing in response. How could she reassure them without undermining her own ambitions? Taking a deep breath, determination flooded her once more. This conversation was just beginning. If she didn't fight for her dreams now, how could she expect them to believe in her? But just as she prepared to respond, the doorbell rang again, a chaotic interruption to the moment she was struggling to control. What now, she thought, caught between the impending confrontation and the yearning to define her future. With a hurried glance at her parents, she felt the specter of her calling hanging in the balance. Would this unexpected visitor shift the dynamics further, or would it provide her with the unexpected support she desperately needed? Claire braced herself, ready to meet whatever awaited her on the other side of that door. Claire took a deep breath, reminding herself to remain calm as her heart raced with both anxiety and anticipation. The sounds of her parents shifting in their chairs punctuated the otherwise quiet moment, amplifying the weight of the unresolved tension. Psychic energy thrummed through her veins as she prepared to confront whatever awaited her beyond the door. When she opened it, Claire was met not with a stranger, but with Mira, her ambitious friend from college whose determination often matched her own. The familiarity of Mira's presence felt like a shield against the uncertainty enveloping the dinner table behind her. "Claire, sorry to drop by unannounced," Mira exclaimed, beaming as if she had just unearthed a eureka moment. "But I heard about your project, and I had to tell you, I think it's incredible." The warmth of her friend's enthusiasm injected some much-needed optimism into the atmosphere. Claire could see her parents in the background, their expressions shifting as they assessed this unexpected catalyst. "Thanks, Mira. I'm just in the middle of some important family discussions," Claire said, her voice slipping into a cautious tone. She felt a pang of guilt for drawing attention away from her previous conversation, but the spark ignited by her friend's arrival encouraged her to explore a different strategy. "Perfect timing," Mira said, stepping in with the unwavering decisiveness that Claire admired. "I'd love to hear more about your vision, and I'm sure your parents would too. It's essential that they see how it could impact kids everywhere." Claire's heart swelled at the sincere attempt to bridge her worlds, but doubt still coiled in her gut. Her parents had their expectations, a reality Mira didn't fully grasp. The words of her mother echoed. Still, "But what if you fail?" With a hesitant smile, Claire grasped this chance. If Mira could articulate her vision in a way that resonated with their fears, perhaps she might be able to help pierce the facade of skepticism surrounding her ambitions. "Okay, let's do it," Claire said, her voice firming with resolve. She ushered Mira inside, motioning for her parents to join them at the table again. "What if I told you that technology can transform education?" Claire said, this time addressing her parents with renewed fervor, her fingers steepled on the table. "It can break barriers and provide children with opportunities they've never had before." Mira has experience in this field. She's been working on similar initiatives. She watched as her mother's brow furrowed, uncertainty battling with fascination. Her father's arms crossed defensively, yet a glimmer of curiosity flickered in his eyes. Mira seized the opening. "Think about it," she began enthusiastically, detailing a recent project where technology had revolutionized the learning process. "We saw students who once struggled thrive, discover interests they didn't know they had, and ultimately improve their lives. It's not just about doing something different, it's about doing something transformative." Claire absorbed every word, watching her parents' expressions shift. The conversation evolved from a standoff to a discussion. Hope blossomed within her as Mira continued to explain practicalities, illuminating statistics and insights that Claire hadn't thought to mention. Yet, as she listened, Claire noticed her father's persistent skepticism lingering in the air. There was a fragility in the defense he built around his reluctance. "What about the risk?" he interjected, still wrestling with the concept. "Nothing comes without a price, and what if—" "Risk is part of growth," Claire asserted, firmly yet respectfully. "If I choose to play it safe, then nothing changes. Isn't that scarier?" The quiet atmosphere held just long enough for Claire's conviction to settle. And then it shattered into fragments of doubt when her mother spoke again. "But what if you don't succeed?" A stagnant pulse of panic raced through her, but as quickly as it came, clarity swept over Claire. "Then I'll learn, I'll adapt, I will turn every setback into a stepping stone," she declared, her conviction shooting through the room like electricity. "But it's about more than just me. It's about the legacy we leave, the impact we can make." At that moment, something shifted. Rather than confronting her parents with vague aspirations, she had laid bare her commitment, entwining her vision with their values. As the conversation continued, an unexpected kinship began to emerge. There was no longer just fear, there were also shared hopes and dreams waiting to be explored. The door of opportunity had creaked open, but Claire couldn't ignore the instinctual knot in her stomach, telling her that true acceptance was still a distance away. With contrasting emotions swirling, she vowed to bring every ounce of her strength to protect her vision. The more she fought for what she wanted, the clearer it became. That the real battle lay not just with her parents, but also within herself. Just as they began to reach a tentative understanding, Mira suggested they brainstorm ideas for moving forward, throwing Claire into a whirl of exhilaration that felt foreign. "Let's put together a pitch for potential investors. This could be big, Claire." Mira's words rang out like a challenge, both invigorating and daunting. Could she truly channel this fledgling momentum into something powerful? All at once, the prospect of the future shimmered before her, teasing out the unknown paths waiting to be traversed. This was not a simple opportunity. It was a transformative moment beckoning her to step up. Yet fear lingered like smoke from a fire left unattended. As the evening unfolded, Claire felt herself at a precipice, one where she had to choose whether to leap into the unknown or retreat into the comfort of familiarity. And in that tension, it became clear the time was coming to confront not just her past, but to define her future. As the discussion grew, the stakes began to soar, phantoms of doubt intertwining with embers of hope. What awaited Claire at the edge of this new chapter? Would she embrace the leap, or would hesitation anchor her back? The answers loomed as darkness kissed the horizon, inaugurating a night of revelations just waiting to break. The night deepened, shadows flickering against the walls as the atmospheric tension inside the room amplified. Claire could feel the hum of possibility fluctuating in the air, yet the gravity of her parents' doubts wrapped around her like a weight, anchoring her to self-doubt. Mira's eagerness infused a flicker of energy within her, daring Claire to take the plunge into a realm bursting with potential. Okay, so a pitch, Claire mused aloud, pushing forward the remnants of her earlier panic. What should we include? Mira's eyes sparkled with inspiration. We need a vision statement that speaks to both your passion and their values. Show them why this matters, not just to you, but to the community, to the world. Claire nodded, finding resolution in her friend's words. Mira's decisive nature pulled Claire's ambitions from the confines of her mind and placed them within reach. Right, it has to capture the essence of what education could be. This realization shifted the focus from her parents' apprehensions to her aspirations. Drawing in a deep breath, she began to outline the pitch in her mind. She envisioned children not merely consuming information, but engaging with it actively, shaping their futures rather than being molded by outdated systems. As ideas began to flow, a rush of adrenaline surged through Claire. What if we demonstrate how technology is already being leveraged successfully? We can include case studies and testimonials, success stories that will resonate with them. Mira leaned forward, captivated. Yes, real-life examples can break down their walls of skepticism. But we also need to express the human element, the emotional connection. It's about more than just data. Claire pivoted. She could feel her resolve solidifying with each suggestion exchanged. We need to convey the passion, the stories of the kids who found their voices. That's crucial. It's the heartbeat of what I want to do. She could almost see her parents' expressions softening, curiosity peaking as they absorbed the transformation of her vision from a mere concept to a human story intertwined with possibilities. Mira interjected, excitement pulsing in her tone. And how about you? Your narrative matters too, Claire. You need to share your journey, your struggles with self-doubt, and the drive to push through those barriers. It'll make you relatable. Claire stilled, suddenly introspective. How could she share the struggle without letting it overshadow her ambitions? The past few months had been strewn with obstacles, moments of wanting to back down, of admitting defeat. But those very moments had forged her determination. You're right, she conceded slowly. I need to own my story, not hide behind it. With fresh clarity, Claire began drafting an outline, a structure to channel the overwhelming whirlpool of emotions and ideas that had clouded her mind. The pitch unfolded beyond mere facts. It was a testament to resilience, an invitation for her parents and investors to embark on the journey alongside her. The comforting presence of Mira fueled her drive, yet behind it, Claire's internal conflict lingered, a reminder that despite the enthusiasm, a sharp twinge of fear gnawed at her. In the stretch between aspiration and acceptance lay a tangled web of expectations and apprehensions. As she poured her heart into the pitch, prepping for the encounter with her parents, Claire wrestled with questions about authenticity. If she opened up about her vulnerabilities, would it drive her parents closer or send them retreating to their protective skepticism? In that moment, doubt clawed at the edges of her composure again. But then, clarity. Claire determined to channel her fear into vulnerability. This is about bridging the connection between my aspirations and their beliefs. Today, I step into the light. The sense of transformation thrummed fiercely within her, propelling Claire towards the edge of the unknown yet again. She felt the fortitude swelling, an urge to confront not just her parents, but also the doubts she'd harbored herself. What if we do this for ourselves too? She proposed suddenly, her voice almost a whisper. What if we're setting an example of belief and possibilities for those who will follow? Mira nodded, a spark of excitement flashing in her eyes. Exactly, that's the core. We aren't just running a project, we're starting a movement. Claire's heart quickened with a mix of eagerness and trepidation, the undeniable pull towards a future shimmering brightly in her mind. But somewhere, deep down, the lingering question remained. Would it be enough to convince her parents to embrace a world they feared and potential she had yet to fully realize for herself? With the night deepening, the stakes felt heightened, her soul poised on the brink of redefining not only her dreams, but how she defined her very being. As she closed her eyes, she whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." And somewhere in the shadowy recesses of her mind, another thought loomed, soft yet unyielding. Would they even be ready to join her on this transformative journey? The dawn crept in, casting a soft light through the window, dispelling the remnants of darkness that had enveloped Claire through the night. Sleep had proven elusive, her mind buzzing with the weight of her impending pitch. Every moment spent contemplating the approaching encounter with her parents twisted her stomach in knots. Yet, beneath the anxiety lay a simmering excitement. Sitting at her cluttered desk, Claire sipped her coffee, rubbing her temples as she mentally rehearsed her narrative. She had to convey the urgency of her vision, tempered by her authentic self, striking a balance that would resonate with her parents. "It's not just a project," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's my life's work." Determined to refine her approach, Claire grabbed a notebook. Bullet points emerged, detailing not only metrics and success stories, but her own journey. She included moments of vulnerability, the times she had stumbled, like when she almost quit, overwhelmed by the sheer weight of self-doubt. Those recollections ignited a fire within her. Each failure had taught resilience. Each setback had lit the path forward. The morning progressed, and the wall of anxiety that had once felt so impenetrable began to crumble. Ideas bolted forth, each one striking with increasing intensity. Claire could almost feel her parents' hesitation turning to intrigue as she unfolded her perspective, revealing not just her business acumen but her heart. She was no longer just a daughter seeking approval. She was an innovator and an ambassador for change. With every word she scribbled, she felt more empowered, not simply to convince them, but to share a piece of herself. The message had to be clear. This was about transformation, not just for individual children, but for the future of education itself. Suddenly, an unexpected thought pierced through her fervor. What if her parents pushed back harder than she anticipated? What if their skepticism morphed into outright denial? Each scenario she conjured felt tinged with an undercurrent of reality, a haunting reminder of the long-standing expectations hovering over her. The confrontation with their fears loomed, larger than life and suffocating. As Claire paced the floor, her mind a whirlwind of possibilities, the idea of retreat flickered in the back of her head. Retreat would be easier, safer. She could sink back into compliance, adhering to their blueprint for success. But deep down, a voice roared against that temptation, reminding her that growth lived in discomfort. "I can't allow their fears to dictate my dreams," she vowed, her resolve hardening. With newfound clarity, she returned to her notes, doodling the heart of her pitch in bold letters. Education as empowerment, forging paths from past struggles to future successes. This time, she infused urgency into her narrative, intertwining her story with those she aimed to inspire. The clock ticked louder, drawing nearer to the moment of truth. Claire's heart raced as she approached the end of her outline. The stakes felt enormous, the weight of responsibility pressing against her chest. Yet this burden also served as fuel. She was fighting for something greater than herself. Images of children discovering their passions flickered in the corners of her mind, reminding her of why she embarked on this quest in the first place. A gentle nudge from Mira's words echoed, "You're setting an example of belief in possibilities." Finally, Claire paused, allowing herself a moment of vulnerability. Perhaps, in sharing her fears with her parents, she could cultivate a bridge rather than a barrier. Would they recognize the heart behind the ambition? Could she transform their skepticism into shared hope? The moment approached, the phone call was scheduled. Claire settled into her chair, her mind clear and focused. She would invite them into her vision, her vulnerabilities, even her potential failures. "This is my truth," she murmured, steeling herself. But just before making the call, doubt crept in again, whispering sinister possibilities. What if their disappointment extinguished her flame rather than igniting it? With one final breath, she braced herself for the confrontation, understanding that it could redefine everything. The moment of decision had arrived. Would she wield her truth like a shield or risk it all in the hope of building something greater from the ashes of conflict? And as she raised her trembling hand to dial her parents' number, a new doubt wrapped itself around her heart. What if they couldn't see the potential in her vision at all? Claire took a deep breath, letting the motion calm her racing heart. After weeks of preparation and internal struggle, this moment felt like the culmination of her journey. She had transformed from the desperate teacher battling self-doubt to an innovator fueled by passion. With her phone in hand, she aligned her thoughts to create a compelling narrative that would resonate with her parents. When her mother answered, Claire's voice emerged stronger than she had anticipated. "Mom, Dad, I'd like you to come over. I have something significant to share." As they arrived, Claire greeted them with a bright smile that belied her tumultuous thoughts. She led them to the kitchen, where she had set up her notes and visuals in preparation for this monumental conversation. The room felt charged, and with every click of her mother's heels against the floor, Claire felt the weight of expectation returning. But she was determined to stand firm. "Thank you for coming," Claire began, her voice unwavering. "I know we've had a lot of discussions about my career path and how you both worry about me, but simply put, it's time I shared my vision with you." Her parents looked at each other with mixed expressions, concern and curiosity. Claire went on, "I've been offered the chance to work with an education technology company. My goal is to innovate how we teach, to inspire creativity, engagement, and passion in students." She gestured toward her prepared materials. "I've outlined everything here." As she presented her ideas, weaving in her personal narrative alongside case studies and success stories, she could sense the atmosphere shift. Her parents' initial skepticism transformed into interest. Each anecdote about her students' engagement, laughter, and the sparks of understanding ignited not just hope in Claire, but had the potential to ignite recognition in her parents. "Mom, this isn't merely a project," Claire pressed on, her voice rising with passion. "It's about transforming education and giving children the opportunity to explore who they are. Each setback I faced molded me into the educator I am today, and I want to share that journey. It's the heart of what I hope to achieve." Her father opened his mouth as if to speak, but Claire pressed ahead, needing her momentum to break through their established expectations. But risk is inherent to progress. The percentage of students flourishing under traditional methods is simply inadequate. We can do better. This isn't just my dream, it's a crossroad for so many young lives. For the first time, she saw it, a flicker of understanding in her father's gaze. "Claire," he said slowly, "you need to realize that there are failures in every endeavor. What if this doesn't pan out?" Claire smiled, a genuine warmth radiating from her newfound belief. "And what if it does? What if I inspire a generation to become more than what society expects? This isn't just about me, it's about all the children that need to feel they belong." The room fell silent, yet Claire's heart raced on, her words flowing like a river unblocked by doubt. At that moment, her mother stepped forward, reaching for a stack of notes Claire had prepared. "So you're saying that this approach could potentially disrupt the standards? It seems risky." "Yes, Mom," Claire exclaimed, not skipping a beat, "but that's the point. We need disruption to provoke change. True education should evolve beyond stagnant shackles. My vision reflects that." As the conversation unfolded, Claire's parents exchanged glances that signified an opening, the acceptance of her independent thoughts. Claire emphasized her commitment to the journey and the importance of believing in potential for both students and herself. Then, with gripping authenticity, she admitted, "I've grappled with self-doubt and fear for so long. It has held me back more than anything. But now, this is my moment to embrace who I am and what I believe in." Tears prickled her mother's eyes as she absorbed Claire's premise. "I think you've achieved more than we ever realized. You're so passionate about this. Perhaps we need to reconcile our expectations with your dreams." The air felt lighter, charged with possibilities rather than tensions of previous wars. With every layer of misunderstanding cleared, Claire recognized a weight drop off her shoulders. Her parents' acceptance started to unravel the tightly held perceptions they had. Finally, her father spoke. "Perhaps we've been too rigid. If this is truly what you want, we would like to see how we can support you." Joy blossomed in Claire's chest, but she steadied herself. "This isn't about changing our relationship, it's about building a bridge, together." The clarity in the conversation brought about a newfound resolution in Claire and solidified her achievements. In this moment, she was no longer that family embarrassment, but a determined innovator poised to redefine success in education. As the afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows, Claire felt solid confidence settle within her. She had proven to herself that being her authentic self while confronting fears head-on could create transformation in her life and relationships. The sense of fulfillment blanketed her. She had conquered a pivotal battle without losing herself. This marked a new chapter not just in her professional journey, but a breakthrough for her personal growth, a moment she would forever cherish as a true turning point. She had achieved recognition not solely for her aspirations, but earned the space to thrive authentically. As she sipped her coffee, Claire smiled at her parents, ready to embark on this journey not just alone, but together. You need to subscribe now to this channel if you don't want to miss out on more transformational stories that inspire personal growth like Claire's. Leave a like now to support our mission of spreading innovation and success. Comment below with your reactions and theories about Claire's journey. And don't wait even one more second to share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness the power of overcoming the odds. Join our community and be a part of this movement.